In case you missed it, alongside the absolute flurry of trailers and content that Hoyoverse have been dropping lately for all of their big games, they also managed to sneak in some fresh new looks at their upcoming game set in the Honkai universe, Honkai Nexus Anima. They dropped a teaser and a gameplay showcase to help get people signing up for their upcoming beta. And as we're all taking our time exploring the moon in Genshin and waiting for Star Rail's 4.4 patch where we go face to face with Plain Arcadia's big bad Asat Pramad, I wanted to fill the time by talking about why I am very excited for Honkai Nexus Anima and why I think you should be too. And if you are like me already, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on more of my thoughts on Honkai Nexus Anima as we get closer to release. If you haven't heard much about the new Honkai game yet, then let me give you a quick rundown. Honkai Nexus Anima is primarily a creature collector game where you find unique creatures, nurture them, and send them off to fight battles for you. Think Pokemon, but even more anime. The official sites also describe it as an adventure strategy game, and from the footage released so far, Nexus Anima appears to feature an open world that can be explored fairly freely alongside your anima companions. As for the strategy element, well, that's where the game really stands out to me. The anima battles seemingly take place on an auto-battler style, similar to the likes of TFT, with your playable characters, known as animasters, influencing the arena in different ways using their unique abilities. It's a clever genre mashup, and one that I think Hoyoverse will be able to do really well. Now, the reason I think Hoyo will be able to create some good auto-battler combat doesn't just come from hunches and vibes, but from past experience. For the longest time, I have always argued that Honkai Impact 3rd has some of the best minigames out of any title they produce. Star Rail is notoriously content barren. Genshin do some cool things on occasion, and here's where I'm gonna start ad-libbing because the current aquarium event is really good, but it does often end up taking an already familiar concept and doing it a bit differently. And to be honest, I haven't played ZZZ since 2.0, so I can't really speak to the current state of its updates. But Impact 3rd, on the other hand, have often experimented with some funky auto-battle or auto-chess mechanics that have been deeply engaging, enjoyable to watch, and challenging in a way that never loses its fun. I'd often find myself playing for hours instead of doing my dailies or catching up on story content, and I always wondered why they didn't turn it into a game of its own. Turns out we just had to wait a little bit longer for them to do it. And that brings us to now, trying to get into the betas for a taste of what's to come and waiting patiently for news of a full release. Which I promise you, I am, because I genuinely feel like this game was engineered to appeal to me specifically. Like so many others, I grew up on Pokemon, and given how much that franchise has changed over the years, I often go looking for my creature collector fix in the indie scene. Speaking of, I would highly recommend Cassette Beasts and Nexomon Extinction, which both have excellent looking sequels coming out at some point in the near future. But I digress. I just think there's something so deliciously fun about roaming around an open world and picking up best friends along the way. And since Pokemon haven't really nailed that feeling for me in a long while, I'm eager to see how that concept comes together in Nexus Anima. But on top of creature collecting, I am also weirdly opinionated in my belief that the auto-battle genre is underutilized. I mean, think about it. When the games are multiplayer online battles, as a dev, you can get away with a smaller player base using some clever AI that replicates the team building and prep phases. And in the single-player context, you can do some really interesting things with large, sweeping boss battles that those multiplayer titles just can't replicate because your combat is just against another player. So it's really cool to consider the possibility, especially with how they're currently being presented in the marketing material for Nexus Anima. Because from what I can see, your team is pre-collected in the open world as opposed to a random shop phase during your turn prep, which adds an even more interesting and unique layer to the game. So for me, this is the perfect marriage of mechanics that I love, in a format that explores them in a different way, and I'm super optimistic that it will deliver a fresh gameplay experience that will delight me endlessly. Yet there is somehow still more for me to be curious about with this game beyond its mechanics, and that is because of its setting. Nexus Anima is the latest game in the Honkai universe, and the wild thing about it is how it's bringing so many icons of both Star Rail and Impact 3rd fame to the party. Straight out the gate, we get Blady, the Stellaron hunter from Star Rail, as well as an English-voiced Kiana from Impact 3rd. This is a huge deal, but somehow not as big of a deal as playable Auto Apocalypse variant. And no, I am not counting Launcher here, because if you play Star Rail, you know Void Archives bearing Otto's appearance is a whole thing, and Launcher's just a weird lookalike for some reason. But moving on. It's super neat to see these familiar and pretty iconic characters in a brand new setting. And surely that means we'll start getting even more lore about how the Honkai universe functions through the story. To give a quick rundown of what we know so far, the word Nexus refers to the fundamental connection between all things, and in this universe, nothing existed in isolation until an event known as the Sundering occurred, which broke the Nexus. With the Nexus scattered, the frayed pieces are manifesting as creatures of aspect energy, referred to as Nexus Anima. And with Anima on the loose, Animasters come into the picture, befriending Anima to use in Nexus battles, a recognized method of dispute resolution across the planes since the Sundering. To go a tiny bit deeper into how characters fit into this world structure, planes are ruled over by Novarchs, although there is seemingly a master rank above Novarchs called Sovereigns, which may have existed pre-Sundering. From what I can interpret, Novarchs seem to run in factions. If we look at the character info for Parayaya, she is described as being the 14th Sovereign, Master of Love and Hate, prior to the Sundering, but since then, she has joined the Phoenix Breaker Novarchs, with Blade also noted as being part of this group and in search of the missing 11th Sovereign. So it looks like there's some interesting stuff happening in the broader world, especially if you start looking at the original characters in Nexus Anima. I'm kind of obsessed with them. I mean, Breadhead is an icon. They wear a toaster as a backpack, which is awesome enough, but it looks like they might be playing a bit of a guiding role for us as the players, so I very much look forward to their company on the journey. But seriously, the cast of characters revealed so far all look super unique and have really cute names like Maple Menibel, but my personal favorite might be the cowboy-looking Casio Rolex. Like, why is bro named after watch brands? But anyway, overall, I think the character designs and names demonstrate something kinda goofy that fits the creature collecting vibe so well, so I'm keen to see which other characters we'll meet along the way, both new and old. Speaking of, which character XPs would you be keen to see Hoyo bring to the world of Nexus Anima? I think I'd be keen to see what someone like Vita or Sparkle would bring to the table, and what kind of creatures they'd have walking alongside them. Speaking of creatures, have you taken a look at the Anidex on the official website? Because let me tell you, I have, and I like what I see. They have posted so many different little buddies so far, and honestly, the designs are pretty cool. Like, meet Shampoko. It's passionate about cleaning, because of course it is. And Cam Corgi? That dog already got its own shorts trailer. That's how much of a star it is. Like, look at the butt. It's a darn cutie patootie. But what about Derpy Dial? He has maracas. And Donabee? I already think donuts are the best food. Now you have a suspected cat wearing a bunny hat that manifests from the aspect of hate? It's basically just me. And look at Frygol. It is a seagull made of fries. You're probably sensing a theme here, but I genuinely think they've crushed the look of the anima. And yes, I can see the parallels to some existing Pokemon, but I don't want to dwell on that here, because that brand has had such a tight grip on the creature collector market for so long, it becomes near impossible to create something wholly unique. So for me, I just like to look at anima in the context of the game they're going to be a part of. And so far, I am in love with it and the world that will be built around them so that they can shine. Well, that's probably enough of my overwhelming positivity for one video, but it's because I'm genuinely really keen for this game. Like I've touched on already, it just feels like the perfect mix of mechanics and story that will deliver a unique gameplay experience while still scratching the lore enjoyer in me thanks to its Honkai universe setting. And whilst I may be going into the game with a lot of hope, I can't keep my design hat off for too long, and I'm sure I will have my own thoughts once I actually get the chance to play it. But for now, I'm happy to just be excited and have a cool new game to look forward to. So what do you think? Are you keen for Honkai Nexus Anima? Or is it not really your thing? Share your hype or ambivalence with me in the comments below, and while you're there, don't forget to tell me your fave animas. As always, thanks for checking out this video. I'm definitely keen to make some content on this game once it comes out, so please keep an eye out for updates on that. And if you've made it this far, I promise that until then, I'll still be dropping vids on Star Rail lore, and maybe even try out some more Genshin content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.